So thank you to all of our speakers for giving their time to be here and share with us today. I'm now going to turn the microphone over to our first speaker, Annabel.
Thank you, Jamie Lynn. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm just going to make sure I can see everyone. Just change my view. There we go. As Jamie Lynn mentioned, my name's Annabel Fitzsimmons, and probably says that up on your screen. And we're all getting used to these new virtual events. This is the fourth one that I've done, so it's really exciting, except I'm going to talk about mindfulness and meditation and how you can bring it into your daily life. As Jamie Lynn mentioned, I have been in the wellness industry for the last 20 years, and we've been focusing a lot in the last 5 to 10 years on corporate mindfulness and meditation tools, and bringing the daily tools into a practical way, or using them in a practical way so you can bring them into your day that's not overwhelming. So I'll talk very briefly on the definitions of mindfulness and meditation, the benefits of mindfulness and meditation, and then I'll discuss some of the obstacles or ways that we can often prevent ourselves from getting the benefits, and what stops us from meditating or bringing these tools into our daily life. So at the end of it, I'll take you through a guided meditation. You don't need any experience, but I will ask you to just listen in and follow my cues. So as we go through, you can raise your hand if you have any questions, but just to start, the definition of mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing your attention into the present moment without judgment. And it's really about being present and being aware. And this practice is strengthened through meditation and tools like meditation. Meditation itself is a science-backed technique that helps you develop stronger mental processes, and it can help your psychological and emotional capacities. So with emotional self-regulation and focus and productivity. And I'll talk a little bit about how that works in the brain. So our brain is a fantastic instrument, and the reason mindfulness and meditation are so popular right now is that stress is our biggest factor that we're facing in work and in our general society. And then with the whole COVID situation, we've just ramped that up and everything has changed. So how can we approach our daily life with positivity, productivity? How can we remain focused when we're at a stress level that is up here? Our bodies were designed originally for fight and flight syndrome. So I'm sure everyone's heard about this. So you have a presentation of an action, something comes to you and you're experiencing something, and your body goes into, I'm either gonna fight this or I'm gonna flee. And what happens over time, and this is what's been difficult in society in the last 20 years specifically, is our bodies have been exposed to more and more stressors. And so on a continual basis, we keep having the fight or flight syndrome just triggered in our bodies. And over time, that can lead to health problems. It can lead to medical issues that you wouldn't directly associate with stress. But right now, 90% of our doctor's visits are related to stress, or they can come back to stress in some way. So it's really been an epidemic, and all the studies are coming out right now of the mental health reaction or fallout from the COVID situation, from isolation, from added stresses, whether it be financial isolation in relationships, or as many of you are probably doing, working from home with kids around or juggling different ways of working. So the benefits of meditation and mindfulness are they can allow you to gain perspective. And the way that works is the brain will take in content, it will take in stimulus, and then we have a lens which we process it through, and then we react. So what happens with meditation, we're actually training our brain to create a slight pause between input and output. And what happens there is if we're experiencing something that's stressful or we're experiencing a challenge, our brain, if we're able to stay in the present moment, we can take a pause and then we can react either with equanimity or from a place of calm. And meditation and mindfulness practices allow us to return to a state of calm more quickly. it's not something that is a destination. You don't meditate and then all of a sudden become calm. And you're not going to be calm all the time. You can ask my children, they will attest to that. But what meditation and mindfulness tools do is they give you the ability to notice thought patterns, notice your cognitive practices, the way you perceive things, and the way that your thought patterns affect your interactions and your choices. So when it comes to your business, when it comes to your interactions with colleagues, with work environments, and with your family, it can be a great equalizer in terms of giving you a chance to step back, perspective, and over time, the practice becomes really instinctual. It becomes more of a subconscious thing. And back to the brain, is we spend a lot of time in our brain in this area called the default mode network, which is this awesome part of the brain where we can call up memories and we can forecast and we can plan for the future. So it's the most amazing thing about being human is that we can look back on mistakes, or we can look back on amazing situations and see what we did right and take that forward. And likewise, we can also forecast, goal set, and use the default mode network for planning ahead. The difficulty, if we land our brain there all the time, or our thoughts there all the time, is that we can either spend too much time thinking about the past or too much time worrying about the future. So when we meditate or we practice mindfulness practices, what we're doing is we're training our brain to come back to the present moment, because all meditation and mindfulness practices are about awareness. They're all connected with breathing, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes. They're all about bringing yourself back to now, what's right in front of you. So you don't miss out on all of the amazing things that could be happening right in front of you. And we're not worrying too much about the future or living in the past. So right now, especially in these challenging times, and we've heard the word unprecedented so many times, but it's true. Our kids will talk about this. They'll learn about this in our kids will talk about this and learn about this in the history books. So there are a lot of uncertainties, especially as an entrepreneur, with what lies ahead. What meditation and mindfulness can do, especially at this time, is bring us back into the now. Right now, am I okay? Right now, what is right in front of me that I need to do? We can prioritize. It can really, just the simple act of breathing physiologically calms our central nervous system. It brings us back to a centered space. It's very hard to be angry or frustrated when you're breathing deeply. You can try it. I've tried it. And it's also hard to overeat when you're breathing deeply. And the idea of what's ahead, so many of the things that we worry about don't come to pass. So by constantly retraining our brain to come back to the present moment, back to right now, we're far better equipped to deal with challenges and challenging situations, again, with equanimity, or at least with a little bit of perspective. Some of the obstacles that I hear about, how many people, first of all, raise your hand if you've meditated. Okay, who meditates regularly? Okay, so yeah, there's that. So most people have meditated, or who's been told they should meditate or feels like they should meditate. Okay, so there's a whole mishmash, and people come to it in their own time, and if it applies to them or they're drawn to it. But what I'd like to do is bust a little bit, bust a few of the myths of meditation, because I find a lot of people don't come to meditation because they think, A, you have to be calm all the time. That's just lose that thought of it. As I said, I'm not calm all the time. If we're calm all the time, we lose our humanity. We lose our individualism. So what it does, it allows you to notice when you're not calm, and it allows you to notice which feelings, reactions, thought patterns serve you well and which don't. And then another obstacle I often hear is that people think that they have to be sitting in like a quiet spot for 20 minutes on a meditation cushion, listening to chanting or listening to music. And that's great for some people. But the reality is most people I know with my kids home during homeschooling, I don't have a quiet space. And even if I get up early, they tend to get up earlier. So I take minutes, mindful minutes. And this is what I'm going to encourage you to do, is just take moments throughout your day to stop and take 5 to 10 deep breaths, and it resets your mind. It resets your central nervous system, and it just brings you back into the present moment. You don't have to meditate for long periods of time. Studies prove that you can meditate for short bits throughout the day, or for 5 minutes a day, you still gain the benefits from it. And then the last one that I often hear is, I can't sit still. And I started meditation when I was doing my yoga teacher training, but I was also a runner, and I found it very hard to sit still. But walking meditation, moving meditations like yoga or Tai Chi, or anything that's repetitive that connects you with your breath, that is just as effective as a seated silent meditation. You're still allowing yourself to connect with your body, connect with your breathing, and let yourself get back to either a state of calm or a state of centeredness. So I'm going to get everyone to join me in a guided meditation. It's just a couple of minutes. You'll just follow my cues. If you're sitting on a chair where you can sit up and have your feet flat on the floor, that's great, or cross-legged. And I'll ask you to close your eyes. If you're not comfortable with that, you can look down towards the floor and just let yourself sit up as tall as you can. If your feet are on the ground, just allow them to be flat, and try and have a 90-degree angle between your calves and your thighs. And I'll ask you to bring your attention to your breathing. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale. And just notice what's happening in your shoulders. Let your shoulders relax. Let your tongue rest behind the tips of your teeth. And just let your breath resume a regular rhythm, your natural rhythm. Feel your feet firmly planted on the floor. And notice any sensations in your legs, your feet, your ankles. And if you find your mind wandering, that's totally fine. We're human, we're designed to think. Just bring your attention back to your breathing. Notice the breath come in and out. Now bring your attention to your spine and your torso. Feel yourself lengthen upwards. And notice any sensations in the spine or the torso. Bring your attention to your arms, from your shoulders down to your palms and fingertips. And notice any sensations in your arms and hands. And finally, bring your attention to your head, neck, and face. And let the cheeks, the jaw, the forehead soften. And notice any sensations in the head, neck, or face. And keeping your eyes closed, just notice your breath once more. Is it a little bit slower? Do you feel a little calmer? And just take one more breath and gently open your eyes. Great. So that was just a short little tidbit. It's a great way to reset. And you don't have to take on big chunks. Just mindful minutes throughout your day are really beneficial. And you can find out more, contact me at MINDmgt.com. Thanks so much. Jamie Lynn, over to you.
Thank you, Annabelle. Oh, I'm feeling really good right now. I'm feeling no pain. That was that was all of maybe 1 minute. It seemed
2
like it
minutes
was.
for the meditation.
Wow, yeah, that was great. And I think something that we can all employ easily in our lives, you know, like you said, whether sitting at our desks or taking a walk. So thank you very much.